Howdy, Possum Patty here. It's April 30th and I'm nature journaling. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon and the rain and drizzle has just stopped. I'm taking a step out. It's very wet. I'm just going to head down the end of the driveway. I want to check a plant. So I went to the end of the driveway to check on this little tiny plant that was growing there. Okay, I'm down here looking at this tiny plant. As you can see, the basal rosette of leaves is about as large as my fingernail. It's got little delicate stalks. And tiny white flowers. It has 4 petals. I think it's in the mustard family, but each petal is deeply lobed. So it looks like there are 8, but there's really only 4. And it's so tiny. And this is what I call a pass-me-by plant. It's just so small that nobody notices it. And the flowers are tiny. And the little fruits, aren't they cute? Little oblong fruit. So I'm going to look this up and see what it is. And I think this is a draba plant. And I remember reading about a draba plant in a Sand County Almanac by Aldo Leopold. I call tiny plants like this, with little tiny white flowers and small leaves, I call them pass-me-bys. Because nobody stops to look at them. They're just so small. And people like big and colorful and showy. But I love these little small delicate flowers. And here's what Aldo had to say about them. And he is recounting things that happen around his property in the month of April. Within a few weeks now, draba, the smallest flower that blows, will sprinkle every sandy place with small blooms. He who hopes for spring with upturned eye never sees so small a thing as draba. He who despairs of spring with downcast eye steps on it unknowing. He who searches for spring with his knees in the mud finds it in abundance. And you really do have to get way down in the mud to see this plant. It's so beautiful even though it is so small. The other pass-me-by plant, and I sketched this in the book the other day. Now this is the other pass-me-by plant. This one's growing by the garage. And I think this one is the lyre leaf rock cress. And this one's making seeds. These are long and pointy, not like the seeds of the other little one at the end of the driveway. And this also has tiny white flowers, but the 4 white petals and the petals are not lobed at all. So the flower petals are different. The fruit is different. And the leaves are different. But this is another pass-me-by plant, something so small and white that nobody would stop to look at it. A bunch of little goblet moss down there. Tiny, 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 very delicate. It also has tiny white flowers with 4 petals. These petals are not lobed, and the fruits are linear and not oblong like the draba. It does have leaves higher up, but they're also more linear, where this one doesn't have any leaves on the stem at all. So I call both of these plants pass-me-bys. They're both small, delicate, and tiny white flowers, and most people don't see them at all. But they are beautiful when you look up close. The other day I had put a box of red on my page with red found in nature, continuing what I had started the other day. But now I find things of blue in bloom, so I decided to put a box of blue. Of course, I have my common blue violets. They're coming up all over the yard. And here's a patch of my lively common blue violets. And down by the stone wall, I found some bluets, delicate little light blue flowers with yellow eyes. They like to grow in wet places. And here's my little patch of bluets. They're such a pretty pale blue with yellow eyes. Small plant. Found another patch of bluets. And under the porch, I found these dark blue ground ivy flowers. Now, I didn't draw a very good picture here. This is the first time I ever tried to draw this flower, and I don't quite like the way it came out, but I'll try and draw it again. I'll probably do a better job the second time. And here's the ground ivy growing under the front porch. See the pretty flowers. And then I threw in this stick here in the background, because I had found this stick in the woods the other day, and it had some blue-green wood stain fungus growing on it. Right next to the blueberry hill, I was picking up some sticks, and I found one beautiful dark blue-green color. And I found the perfect Daniel Smith watercolor paint called Cobalt Turquoise to get that blue-green wood stain fungus color right on that piece of wood. In my metadata for today, I put some symbols. The symbol for continuous light rain is 2 little dots next to each other. And for continuous drizzle, it's 2 apostrophes next to each other. So we've gone from light rain to drizzle today. Took a little bit of clearing in the afternoon. I also found the symbol for the first quarter moon, which is today. And this is a waxing moon. And because I like visual journaling, I like to add symbols to my page. I put a blue background to symbolize we had one day of sunny blue skies this week. So here's my tale of 2 mustard plants, my box of blue, and my symbols for today. Thanks for coming along today. Bye-bye.